It is with complete certainty possible to make more money fast, even if it feels completely impossible. And in this video, I'm going to explain the three levers, the only three levers that you need to move in order to make more money quickly. And I'm also going to give you the strategies to use that go along with them. So you'll know exactly what to do by the end of this video to make more money fast. And all I really ask in exchange is if you found the video useful at the end, hit the subscribe button and hit the like button so more people like you can see the video. Okay, so let's get into it. For the last 21 years, I've ran a series of businesses. Yes, I'm now legal in all 50 states. And most of those businesses centered around the real estate and the finance industry, which has provided me with a lot of access to people's finances, both employees and clients. And over the years, I've noticed some consistencies with respect to the people who make the most money, and specifically the people who can increase their income the fastest. And the reality is, increasing your income is not that difficult if you know which levers to move. But before I tell you what those levers are, you need to understand two things first before you shift them. The first is that every single problem when it comes to money is a mindset problem. And the best approach that you can take when it comes to money is by understanding first and foremost that it is a game. And not a game where you're competing with others, but a game where you're competing with yourself, where you're trying to be better than you were previously. And if you can understand that and not attach your personal worth to the outcomes that you have when it comes to money, things like losing a job or maybe losing money in an investment, then you will be ahead of 99% of people. The second thing that you need to understand on your journey to making more money, and this is by far the most important thing you will ever learn about personal finance. Do you want to know what it is? It's that a penny saved is 2 pennies earned. Now stick with me here, don't click off this video because this is the most important part. Every time you spend $1, you actually had to earn almost $2 in order to spend it. That's because of the amount of money that you had to pay in taxes. So if you want to increase the amount of money that you have available to you fast without having to do more work, the way to do it is by saving money, because every dollar that you save means that you don't have to earn $2 to make up for it. So if you want that feeling of more money quickly, the first place that you need to look at is your spending and cut spending as quickly as possible. And I'm a big fan of Ramit Sethi here, where he has his money dials, his 2 or 3 things he's willing to spend money on, and everything else he is completely and 100% frugal on. Because when you take that approach, it means you cut out the majority of your expenses and you're only spending money on the things that you care about, which means you can save a lot of those dollars so that you don't have to earn a whole bunch more in order to make up for them. So if there's one thing and one thing only that you take away from this video, it should be that if you want to double your income, the best way to do it is by reducing your spending. And every time you go and spend $1, you should be thinking about the fact that that thing that you're buying is actually costing you double what you're paying for it, because that's the amount of money that you had to earn in order to get it. Now, those two caveats aside, and the whole thing that I'm supposed to say about this not being a financial advice, let's talk about the levers. There are only 3 levers that you can really move in order to increase your income quickly. And they are as follows. The first one is the simplest. It is simply to work more hours. The more time you spend working and earning income, the more money you will make. Now, this may be the simplest, but this is also the hardest, because obviously there are only so many hours in a day, and this one can lead to burnout quickly. It can also take away a lot of the time that you have to spend with family and do the really important things in life, the things that are significantly more important than earning more money. But let's say you had to make more money quickly and you're willing to make those sacrifices. Well, if you can work in a job where you're allowed to work overtime, that's an easy way to make significantly more money. You get paid for the time, and in a lot of cases, you'll get paid extra for working the overtime. Now, let's say you absolutely hate your job, and that's not something that you want to do. I mean, most people don't want to work more hours. By the time their 8-hour shift is done, they just want to get home and get out of the workplace. But let's say you have something that you really love to do. Let's say it's crafting, or let's say it's woodworking, or let's say it's something else that just lights a fire up underneath you. Well, you can go and get a part-time job in that industry. For example, I have a buddy, he's got a 9-to-5 job, but he really loves hunting. And in order to pay for his hunting habit, he works at a Bass Pro Shops in order to make extra income. And of course, it helps that he likes hunting, he likes people, and he likes talking to people about hunting. So he gets to do that on a regular basis at his part-time job for 3 or 4 hours a night and get paid for it. It is something that he would be doing anyways, but he's earning extra cash on the side by doing it. Now, other people have side hustles. They sell their time or things that they make in order to make extra money, and that's totally cool too. The key thing here is if you're going to spend all your time doing something to earn more money, either have a reason that is so good that you're willing to sacrifice for it, or do something that you actually love to do that you would do for free anyways. Now, the whole working more hours thing, spending more time earning money, that is the hard one. That is the one that I expect most people not to do. The next option is to find a way to earn more income per hour. And there is a lot of ways to do this. And I promised you strategies, and that is exactly what I'm going to give you. So if you are in a 9-to-5 job and you want to earn more money, there are some simple things you can do in order to get a raise or find a better job. A mentor once told me that you should always be shopping for a new job no matter what, for 2 reasons. One, so that you're constantly practicing interviewing, so when a job does come up that you want, you are able to interview well and get it. And the second reason is so that you always know what your market value is. If you're applying for jobs, getting interviews, and getting job offers, you know exactly what the rate of pay that you are worth is. And once you find out that you were worth more than what you were getting paid, you have a couple options. Now, the option that you choose really depends on how much you like the job that you're at currently. Because if you love the job that you're at currently, the approach that you can take is to go to your current employer and use the other job that you've been offered as leverage to get a pay increase. And the script for doing that is really quite simple. You go to your boss, you say, hey, I've been offered a job, it pays more, but I really love where I'm working now. Then tell them exactly what the job is, how much you've been offered, and then ask them if in their eyes you are a valuable enough asset to either match or beat the amount that you've been offered. Now, if you're a good employee and you've got a good relationship with your employer, more than likely they're going to try to retain you because it's far more expensive and risky to bring in a new employee that they don't know, they don't have a track record with, and then train them to do your job instead of just paying you a little bit more money. So for most people, you're probably going to be able to negotiate a raise based on that alone. But be aware that there may be circumstances outside of your control that cause them to encourage you to leave, which is totally fine, assuming that you actually want the job that you applied for. So make sure you're only applying for jobs that you actually want. Now, let's say you don't want to stay at your current job. Well, don't make the mistake that most people make, which is just handing in your resignation and accepting the new job offer. Use your existing job as a way to leverage for more money at the new one. So go to your existing employer and say, hey, I've been offered a job. They've offered me more money than what I'm being paid here. Are you willing to beat their offer? If they come back and they're willing to beat the offer, you get to go to your prospective new employer and say, hey, I told them I'm leaving. They came back. They offered me a really good package. Can you match it? It's a way to earn even more money quickly by using just a little bit of strategy. And keep in mind, there's no harm in this because typically when somebody offers you a job, they have a little bit of room to work with. They offer you less than what they can actually afford to pay you, hoping you'll take the job for a little bit less money. So going back and asking them for a little bit more is not only strategic, but you're highly likely to get a little bit more money as a result. Okay, so the third lever that you can pull in order to make more money fast is by scaling yourself. And there's a couple of ways to do this. The first way is to start a business where you hire people to do a job and you're selling the services that they do on their behalf. Now, this obviously means you would be a business owner, so you've got to have a little bit of entrepreneurial skills in order to do this. And this isn't something that I would leave a full-time job for in order to jump into unless I was certain that I could make the money. But for example, let's say you're an engineer and you want to start a consulting business. Well, what you can do is start a consulting business where you reach out to prospective clients and then you hire other engineers to do the work underneath you. And the more engineers that you hire underneath you in order to do the work, the more clients that you can bring on, and obviously the more income you can make. And this works the same if you're a mortgage broker or a realtor or you have any sort of skill that you can sell to companies. Heck, even if you're a writer or a graphic designer or a bookkeeper, those are all skills that you can hire people to do while you go out and make the sales in order to get the clients. And scaling in this way can be incredibly lucrative. Now, there's other ways you can do it as well. For example, this YouTube channel is a way for me to scale my time. For every hour I spend making a video on this channel, I get about 1,000 hours worth of watch time, which means I've replicated myself about 1,000 times, and that ultimately leads to me making more course sales, making more mortgage sales, and overall making more money, especially when I go to bed and people keep watching the videos and the YouTube ad revenues keep stacking up. Or if you've got some sort of special expertise in something, you can also sell that information online. For example, right now, I'm teaching 15 realtors how to make YouTube channels just like this one, and I'm making a pretty considerable amount of money doing it. The best part of it is those 15 realtors meet with me once a week for an hour, which means I'm scaling myself at a rate of 15 to 1. And in addition to that, if you've looked at the other things I've made, like the Rate Secrets course or the Homebuyer Masterclass, those things continue to sell on a regular basis, and I've made a pretty significant amount of money just by creating them once and then having links in the descriptions of these videos so that people who are looking to buy a home or get a mortgage can go in, buy the course, and get the information that they need without me having to have one-on-one conversations with all of them. In fact, the Rate Secrets course alone is the one way that I've found to scale my time that has made us the most money out of anything that we have ever done. So making more money doesn't have to be difficult. It's not impossible. In fact, it's really easy if you're strategic. The first way, the hardest way, is to increase the amount of time that you work. The next best way is to increase your income by being strategic and always making sure that you're looking for better opportunities. And the third way is scaling yourself. And that means starting a business where you can replicate your skills or your knowledge to earn more income at a rate that you probably never thought possible. So if you found this video useful, do me that favor and hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. And if you want to see another video on some pretty impressive money hacks, check out this one right here. There's 100 of them.